Hello, mighty companions. This is Earl Purdy, and I want to welcome you to A Course in Miracles here on Facebook Live. We're going to continue to talk about how does the voice of your higher self communicate to you? How does Holy Spirit communicate to you? How do you listen to your divine mind? How do you listen to the right mind? How does your right mind operate? How does your sane mind operate? The Course in Miracles says we don't know the difference between the sane mind and the insane mind. So we need to know how it operates. I'm Earl Purdy. Thank you for coming. And we're going to start out with our theme song from Brother John Christmas, which is I Am Not a Victim of the World I See. I am not a victim of the world I see. Of Course in Miracles workbook lesson. You can get John's lesson music at johnchristmas.com. You can download it for free. So let's get started, shall we? Yeah.
I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. I'm not a victim of my mom. I'm not a victim of my mom. I'm not a victim of events and circumstance at all. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. 'Cause what's happening now is what I done to me. I'm not a victim of the future, not a victim of the past, not a victim of anything that really doesn't last. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. 'Cause what's happening now is what I done to me. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see.
Everything is an idea. Thoughts increase by being given away. The more who believe in the thoughts, the stronger the thoughts become. The more who believe in them, the stronger they become. Everything is an idea. How then can giving and losing be associated?
I'm not a victim of the North. I'm not a victim of the South. Not a victim of anything. So what comes out my mouth? I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. 'Cause what's happening now is what I done to me. Help me out now. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no,
Of the world I see. Yeah. Everything is an idea. Your financial situation is an idea. Your love life is an idea. What's happening on your job is an idea. What's happening in your spiritual awareness is an idea. What's going on in the world, we're looking at a lot of different ideas. Everything is an idea. You are an idea. God is an idea. Everything is an idea.
I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. 'Cause what's happening now is what I done to me.
Oh, yeah. I'm not a victim of the world I see. What's happening now is what I've done to me. What's happening now is what I've done to me.
Yay.
Welcome, Mighty Companions. Thank you for showing up right now. I am the Remembering Coach. I am Earl Purdy. I am here to help you remember you're not as crazy as you think you are. Here to remind you that you might be thinking some things about yourself that's not true. Yeah. So we're gonna be on page 74 in the text, chapter 5, Healing and Wholeness. Healing and Wholeness. It's in the section called the Invitation to the Holy Spirit. The invitation to the Holy Spirit is the invitation to your loving right mind. So you sending out an invitation to your sane mind for 1 hour. We're going to send out an invitation to our loving right mind. And the Course in Miracles says, thoughts of love, thoughts of happiness, thoughts of joy, don't you think those thoughts need to be strong in your life? Well, how do you make those thoughts of peace and joy and happiness stronger in your life? The Course in Miracles says you have to give those thoughts away. So if I'm constantly giving away thoughts of anger, giving away thoughts of guilt, dissatisfaction, fear, then those thoughts increase because I'm giving them away. So when you think about the newspaper, the media, and everything that we're hearing and seeing on TV, are we increasing these thoughts by constantly giving these thoughts of fear away? The Course says, those who believe, the more who believe in the thought, the stronger the thought becomes. So the more people who believe in love, the stronger the thought of love becomes. The more people who believe in peace, the more peace, the larger it becomes. So any idea that you can get other people to join you with, in that idea becomes a stronger idea. Have you noticed that people feel a lot more comfortable sharing their anger with you and they're upset with you than they feel sharing their love for you and their appreciation for you? You notice people would be kind of shy about saying loving things, like grabbing their mother and saying, oh, I really love you, you're the best mother in the world, or grabbing their child or partner and saying, you are awesome. I'm so glad you're in my life. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. But you left the toilet seat up. See, now we'll share that with a lot of anger. What time did you get home for dinner? See, we're sharing those thoughts. So are we making those thoughts stronger? Yeah, we're making those thoughts. Why? Because not only do we share our anger, we have a lot of emotion and feeling. So the Course in Miracles says everything is an idea. That everything is an idea. Everything is a thought. Everything is an idea. Everything is an idea. I'm the divine repetition teacher. I'm going to say it again. Everything is an idea. Everything is a thought. Everything is a thought. This microphone is the result of what? This top I have on is the result of everything you see is the effect of a thought, right? What about you? You ever thought about that? Could you be the result of a thought? So something thought of you, or you wouldn't exist. Now, everybody's got different opinions about what that is. And we call it religion and our philosophical and spiritual debates. But you exist. So if you exist, you had a cause. Okay, now, the Course in Miracles says there are only two things you experience in the world. You only are experiencing peace, or you experiencing not so much peace. That's it. You're either experiencing love, or you're not experiencing love. It doesn't matter whether you're with a person. It doesn't matter whether you're at home. It doesn't matter whether you're on a trip around the world. It doesn't matter if you're at work. All you're experiencing all day long, no matter what's happening all day long, is you're experiencing peace, you're feeling cool, or you're not. Everybody with me so far? Yeah. Okay, so the Course in Miracles then says that if your experience is coming from your thoughts, and there are not but two kinds of thoughts you're going to have, a thought that brings love and a thought that brings fear and conflict, then you obviously need to learn how to tell the difference between the two. Because if you really knew the difference between love and fear, if you really knew the difference between peace and conflict, then you wouldn't have entered most of the relationships you've been in. Because in most cases, you didn't know what you were getting into. Where if you had been able to tell, the fact that he had the Jason mask on, you know what I'm saying? That might have been your first hint. That maybe you was choosing the wrong dude, okay? My point is, hindsight is 20/20. But a lot of times when we're making mistakes in our perception, we don't know we're making that mistake, right? So the Course in Miracles says everything is an idea. So your love life is an idea. Your financial situation is a result of your ideas. Then it says that if giving something increases it, if me giving you an idea and you accept an idea, now that idea is bigger. You have the idea and I have the idea, so now the idea is bigger, right? So then it says, then why is it that we think when we give something, we're losing it? If giving increases what you have, then every time you give something, then it's going to increase what you have. So there's no such thing as giving and losing. If I give you attack and a lot of anger and criticism and judgment, it's a strong possibility that you're going to give me back judgment and anger and upset. That when you give something, you are actually increasing it, right? First I'm upset, now you're upset too. So now the upset has grown, right? So the Course in Miracles is saying there is a part of you that is divine. There's a part of you that is in touch with all knowledge. There's a part of you that is totally sane and totally loving. There's a part of you that never gets upset. There's a part of you that's satisfied. There's a part of you that is full of joy. There's a part of you that's chilled out. There's a part of you that feels completely fulfilled. And it says you're not in touch with that part of you if you're upset. So what you need to do is you need to get in touch with the part of your mind that's full of love and full of sanity and full of peace. Everybody with me? So the Course in Miracles, we're going to be on paragraph 5. And remember the guidelines to the Course. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, I like to give you the guidelines to my classes in the Course in Miracles. Only rules.
That's chapter 5.
We're going to be chapter 5. It's on page 74.
Yeah.
Okay? These are the rules. You only need to remember what? Number 1, remember that you don't have to believe any of the ideas that I'm giving you. Number 2, you don't have to accept any of the ideas that I'm giving you. Number 3, you don't even have to welcome the ideas that I'm going to give you. Got that? You don't have to believe it, you don't have to accept it, and you don't have to welcome it. Listen to me now. Some of the ideas that I give you from A Course in Miracles today, you may actively resist some of the things that I say. Everybody's familiar with resistance? It's called something like, hell no. That might be a little hint. What? I can't believe he said that. Don't forget, I said what? Some of the ideas you may actively resist. Do you know that some of the ideas from A Course in Miracles, you will find hard to believe some of the ideas that I'm going to share. You're going to find some of you might go, that's hard to believe. Okay, that's what I said. I said that you may say, what he just said is hard to believe. Then it says, some of the things I say to you might startle you. What? Did he say that? Did that book say that? Some of the things I say may what? Startle you. Now here's the big one. What is the one thing you are not being asked to do, but you know you're going to do it? Judge. Okay? So the Course in Miracles says you are not asked to judge the ideas at all. That means I'm not asking you to analyze the ideas, because using the ideas will give the ideas meaning to you. People who don't use the ideas in the Course in Miracles, they're tempted to say the Course in Miracles doesn't work. But when I go a little bit deeper with them in examination, I find that they don't read the book, don't study the book, and don't remember anything it's saying, and also not doing the workbook lessons that make it real. But they are adamant that it's not working. I want to bake a cake. I got the recipe book. I'm staring at it. I'm reading it. I went through the recipe book line by line, and then I walked out of the kitchen and waited for the cake to be baked. Didn't get one egg, didn't get no milk, didn't get no flour, didn't do nothing, didn't stick it in the oven, but I read the recipe book and I'm expecting a cake. That's the way it is if you say you're on a spiritual path or you're trying to learn anything and you're not doing what it says, but you're expecting the result. That's just like me staring at the recipe book and expecting the cake. But let me tell you, we go even deeper than that. You know what else we do? We don't even read the recipe book. Let alone don't do the recipe book. We actually don't read the recipe book and say, where's the cake? Same thing about relationships. It is not difficult to have a loving relationship with somebody that wants to have one with you. It's always difficult to have a loving relationship with someone that you all are not in alignment on your purpose of the relationship, and you're not in alignment with how you all are going to go about making it work. That's why you have difficulties in relationship. First of all, the two people have not set a purpose, don't have a goal for the relationship except to be together. And they don't have any goal that they're setting, and then they're not in alignment about how they're going to handle the things that come up in a relationship. So they don't have any formula for how they're going to deal with the upset that may come up or the misperception that may come up. And then a lot of times they don't love each other enough to even want to go through it with each other to get rid of the block. Because if I'm with you for any other reason other than I love you, then I'm not going to have the real deep motivation to make this thing happen regardless of what comes up. So sometimes when I counsel with couples, I ask them, are you in love with each other? And they look at me like I'm crazy. What? Yeah, do you love her? Do you love him? Do y'all love each other? Do you want to be together? Are you kind of turned on by the idea of being and sharing your life or your relationship together? And what I should be hearing is, yes. And there's some blocks coming up between us right now, and we want to get past them because this relationship matters to us. No, that's not what you usually hear. Do you know what you usually hear as a counselor? Here, it goes something like this. The two people are sitting. It goes like this. If you were different, I'd be happy. No, if you were different, I'd be happy. No, if you were different, I'd be happy. No, now they're saying this stuff, right? They're saying if you came home late, if you told me you love me, if you buy me the gifts, they got this. But all they're really saying, no matter what the form of what they're saying, the content of what they're saying is, my happiness depends on your behavior. All of my joy depends on what you getting home for 6:30 for dinner is where my happiness is located. So a person who is determined not to be happy is always saying, if something about the situation I'm in were different, I would be happy. If I was in a different job, I'd be happy. If my boss were different, I'd be happy. Check it out. It's always, if the thing outside of me were different. If my weight was different, I'd be happy. If my breath smelled better. Well, that's the truth. That's what everybody around you. But that's a whole nother class. Okay, that's called the Sacred Bad Breath class. I'm working on it right now. How to use bad breath to get to heaven. We're going to be talking about that. And heaven isn't a place. Heaven is a state of perfect oneness and joy and love and peace. So the Course in Miracles says, so the Holy Spirit is your loving right mind. The Holy Spirit is your loving self. The Course in Miracles says the Holy Spirit is the Christ mind, which is aware of the knowledge that lies beyond perception. Now, when people hear A Course in Miracles, they know they heard English, and then they go, what in the heck did he just say? Right? I'll say it again. The loving mind in you is the loving part of your mind. There's a loving part of your mind that is aware of knowledge and has knowledge beyond what you can see. There's a part of you, the divine part of you, the spiritual part of you, knows things you don't know. There's a part of you that sees beyond the way you see things. What else? Well, that divine part of you that can see what you don't see, it came into being with the separation as a protection. What does that mean? I have separated myself from that which created me, and I've separated myself from love and joy. And so there's another part of me that's coming to my rescue that can see beyond what I'm seeing in my life right now, especially if I'm seeing any part of my life in a way that I don't feel happy and I don't feel peace. So the Holy Spirit is your sane mind that can see beyond the way you're looking at things when you're feeling bad or afraid. You still with me? Now, what you want to do with the Course in Miracles is you want to nibble it like it's the cheesecake of truth. You know, I've never seen it about cheesecake. You go. And then you go. Right. This is cheese. This is the cheesecake of God. Okay. So that's why I'm taking it slow, because the Course in Miracles says you could use one sentence in this book and use it consistently and it would transform your entire life. Just one sentence. Okay, let's try that. Okay, the Holy Spirit, that's my loving right mind, that's in my real mind. It's aware of stuff I don't know about and stuff it can see beyond what I can see. It came into being as soon as I separated myself from love and separated myself from God, which is love, and separated myself from happiness. And so this part of you that came into being when you separated from God, the Course says that part of you is inspiring the forgiveness principle, which is the atonement. So there's a part of you that's constantly trying to get you to love yourself and forgive yourself. There's a part of you that's always trying to get you to love yourself and forgive yourself. There's a part of you that can see you in a way you don't see you. There's a part of you that sees your perfection. There's a part of you that sees how loving and cute and juicy you are and know that you only deserve to be happy, and that you're not sinful and guilty and bad, and that your Creator is not condemning you or punishing you. There's a part of you that knows exactly what love is, and it can see beyond the negative things you may be telling yourself so that you won't forget that you're not what you think you are. Hello. Hello. Now that was 2 sentences of A Course in Miracles. Cheesecake truth. Is that cheesecake truth? And then people go, well, I don't understand. Well, the Course in Miracles got you covered. It says your understanding doesn't contribute nothing to anything. so your understanding does not make anything true. It doesn't make anything. If I had to understand a jet, I would have never got to Memphis over the holidays and visit my family. If I had to know the laws of aerodynamics before I took a trip or watched TV, I could never watch any of the shows I watch on TV if it was contingent on me understanding how TVs operate. Right? So you need to let go of the idea that your understanding is what's important. I just need to know how to turn the remote control on. Right? That's all. I don't even have to understand. Push the red button. Click, the TV comes on. That's what the Course in Miracles is trying to get us to understand. That our understanding has nothing to do with the blessings in our life. What it's trying to do is get you out of the way so that the blessings can come, because you're the only one that's keeping them from happening, because you're the one that's insisting you know what's going on. But the truth is you don't see but a little bit of everything, so you really don't know what's really going on. And on top of that, the Course says you don't even know your own best interests. You don't even know when you're choosing something that's going to benefit you. Sometimes the main thing you wanted was the main thing that would have hurt you. You wanted that job, and it would have been a job from hell. And Spirit loved you so much it didn't give you that job. And then you feel disappointed thinking that Spirit didn't come through for you. Yes, Spirit did come through for you. You didn't get that job because that job would not have been for your own best interests. But since you think you know what's best for you, you have the audacity and the arrogance to feel upset. Because I know that job was what I needed. You follow what I'm saying? Right? And then the Course in Miracles, let's nibble a little bit more. Okay, we're gonna nibble. We're gonna nibble a little bit more. Okay. Okay. Now, before you separated from your Creator, you were in a state of total bliss and love. But the Course says there was no need for healing. There was no need for healing because there was nothing wrong with you. So then what does it say? It says, for no one was comfortless. So you didn't need to be healed because you were totally comfortable. There was nothing for you to fix because in your real state, your true state, your state of oneness with your creator, he said, you're comfortable. There's no need for healing. I don't need to have therapy because nothing in my life is crazy. Everybody's cool and I'm cool. There was no need for therapy. Everything was good. Then the Course in Miracles says, the voice of the Holy Spirit. What is that? He says, well, that's a call. That's a call to atonement. Now, the word atonement, when I grew up in church, it was like making up for something you did that was really bad. So the word atonement didn't exactly make me jump up and down with joy. Because it's not like I had to make up something. You got to atone, buddy, for what you did last night. Right? The Course in Miracles says the way that you can tell when you have an incorrect perception of something is that it makes you feel bad. See, that's too simple. How can I tell when I have the incorrect perception of my mother? Every time I think of her, I kind of like press down on the gas pedal and gun the car. Open it, she'll walk across the street when I'm going because I hate her. Right? So the Course is saying, do you hate your mother? Yeah. Well, then that's your way of knowing you have an interpretation and a perception of your mother that is not based on the truth. But you could have an interpretation and based about your mother that is based on your past experiences of your mother, and the way that you are judging her based on those past experiences, you feel hate for your mother. Follow me? But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're looking at your mother correctly, because you yourself want to not feel that way about your mother. So that's your way of knowing that you're not looking at her correctly, because you yourself would prefer not to hate your mother. So every time you're upset, if you want to save a lot of time, if you want to really save yourself some apologizing and wish you hadn't said it and all that, as soon as you feel that, shut the hell up. Take a deep breath and shut your mouth. What? Take a deep breath when you're feeling that temptation to attack and that rage is coming up. You go, you might have to leave. You might have to get up and get in your car and drive away. You might have to walk the other way. That's not saying you're not going to handle the situation, but you want to handle the situation from your right mind. And from your right mind, you're handling the situation from a place of power, which is a place of peace. It's hard to fool a peaceful person. It's extremely easy to deceive people who are afraid. And that's what's happening in my perception in our so-called outer society right now. Everyone's so afraid, it's easy to deceive and manipulate them. It's easy to manipulate people who are afraid. And everything we're doing is what? Feeding ourselves ideas that increase fear. That's like we read earlier. What did it say? It said thoughts increase by being given away. So we're getting all these fearful thoughts coming at us from every direction around us. Then it says the more who believe in them, the stronger they become. So it looks like there's a whole lot of people believing like very fearful things. Then he says, well, everything is an idea, including the stuff that we're dealing with right now. Then he says, so how can you keeping on giving these fearful ideas? How is that going to create a situation where we're losing our fear with each other when all we hear is the fearful ideas? But have you noticed that in a world like this, someone that's sitting up here, let's say for me, like me, for example, and I'm saying only loving things and encouraging things and letting you hear about really how cool you are and you know, you got something that can guide you, you hardly have turnaway crowds. But if I was telling you that you were going to hell and you were totally sinful and you know, the devil was going to stick you in the butt with a big old fork, I'd have a 20,000 seat arena with people tied. Why? Because you're telling people what they already believe. They already believe they're guilty. They already believe some part of them is sinful and some part of them is bad. You've been taught that. So it would sound like I'm a person who's telling you the truth, because I'm the person that's telling you what you believe about yourself. Right? But if I say you're innocent, you're sinless, you're guiltless, you love, but you've forgotten it, then people feel suspicious. What is he really up to? He's an angel in the devil's cloak. And he black too? So, you know, it's like, you know what I'm saying? So my point is, there's a voice inside of you that has one goal: to restore the integrity of your mind. That there's a part of you that wants to restore the oneness of your mind, the love in your mind. Then what does the Course say next? when the atonement is complete. Now, the Course describes the atonement as the undoing of error, the undoing of fear. So when the undoing of fear is complete and the whole sonship is healed, there is no call to return. The sonship is the family of love. We are the family of love. The Course in Miracles says, when our fear has been undone, that's the atonement being complete, then we will all be healed. And so there will be no need to call you to return to peace. There's no need to call you to return to happiness if you are happy. Okay. Every desire presupposes a lack. Everything that you're trying to get is saying, this is what I think I'm lacking. So the desire to get comes from the belief in lack. So you have a lack mind just because you think you need to get something, which is different from going out in the world to allow yourself to receive what's already been given to you. It's like when I ordered a package from Amazon, then once it's delivered, they tell me I need to go to the locker to pick it up. So I'm not seeking that package. I'm receiving the package that I've already been given. You need to stop seeking love and be open to seeing where the love has already been delivered. And in some cases, it ain't the person you with. See, that's like me wanting to go get the package that's been delivered by Amazon, but I go to Whole Foods store looking for it. No matter where I look at Whole Foods, am I going to find the package from Amazon? No. Well, that's what's happened in your life. You're looking for your happiness where it wasn't delivered. Wow. Yeah. You know that guy Jed that you were so in love with? You know what I'm talking about. Well, they came through JedX, right? Spirit delivered that person to you. Mostly the relationships and situations that happen that excite us the most were not things we planned. I don't know about you, but everything in my life that's been the biggest changes and breakthroughs absolutely was not exactly the way I planned it, if I'd be honest with you. Now, I may have had the desire for it, but the way it actually came didn't come the way that I had decided it should. So ask yourself this question. Is the reason why you're not happy right now is that you're looking for your happiness where it isn't located? The Course in Miracles says, anytime in a relationship you try to get something from somebody that doesn't want to give it to you, it's because you're afraid to have it. And that's why you go after the person who won't give it to you, because you are afraid to have it. So what could better ensure you won't have intimacy than for you to get in a relationship with the person who doesn't want intimacy with you? And then you think all your effort should be in getting that person to want that intimacy with you. But the truth is, if you really wanted it, you wouldn't be trying to get it from somebody that doesn't want to give it to you. So the trouble is, you don't want it, but you think somebody else is denying you of it. Breathe in that good ass prana, baby. There's this guy on the internet called Ralph Smart. He just blows my mind. He says it all the time. He'll be teaching me saying some deep stuff. Just breathe it in, baby. He'll be standing on the beach, you know. Yeah, I hear you, Ralph. See, I'm more prone to listen to somebody that seems like they're joyful. You know, it's like Ralph, you know, what that told you? You must have been to Colorado before you hit that island, man. You must have hit some of these pot shops. Anyway, okay, now, but we use that natural high. Isn't that what we're using? We're using that natural high. A natural high comes from recognizing that you are beautiful, holy, whole, and complete. And you're a priceless treasure. And you deserve only love. Yes. Yep. And somebody that's not looking in your eyes and telling you that, you might want to reconsider the value of that friendship or that relationship. Okay. Nibble. Okay, next. I love, what is the atonement? Like I tell people, stop figuring out the course. What is the atonement? The restoration of the integrity of the mind. So when you said that you want to practice the atonement, you're saying, I want the oneness of my mind restored. I want the integrity of my mind restored. I want love and peace in my mind restored. See, I don't have a problem with that definition of atonement. When the atonement is complete, now watch this, Course in Miracles students, you could say, when the restoration of the integrity of the mind is complete, what happens? It says the whole sonship is healed because there will be no call to return. But what the Creator creates, what God creates, and this is a very important statement, the Course tries to say, I'm going to teach you the difference between what's real and what's not. I thought I already knew. No, this is how you can tell the difference. If it's real, it cannot be destroyed. If it's real, it cannot change. And if it's real, it's eternal. I'll say that again. The Course's definition of real is what? It's eternal. What does that mean? Permanent. It lasts all the time. Nothing can cause you to lose real love. Real love can never be lost. Real love can never be lost. You can never lose the love of someone who really loves you. So if you just make that one rule, see what I'm saying? If you just made that your one rule, that whatever is real is something that lasts, whatever is real is something that I can count on, and you'll be able to discern immediately who's lying to you, who's not, what's real and what's not. What's not real, then, from that definition, would be anything that's temporary. Anything that's temporary? Anything that doesn't last forever is unreal. So if I'm this body, would that mean I'm unreal? Based on that definition, right? So the Course is saying, you are not your body. You are not your body. You have a body. Got it? I am not my car, but I have a car. Have you ever said, somebody almost hit me in traffic today? Mm-hmm. You talked as if your body was you. You went, somebody almost hit me today. And it's like, no, somebody almost hit your car today. So this book is saying the same thing is true about your body. Your body is no more you than your car is. But I can feel it. I feel like I'm in it. I feel like I'm in my body. Of course you do. You're identifying with it. Wow. Wow. And there are two things you use to make yourself believe you're in your body. There are two things you use that's got you convinced this is all you are. This is it. This is it. This is all I am. And he says, what is that? Pleasure and pain. PP. That's right. You need to stop peeing on yourself.
Golden shower.
Okay. Hey. It's the golden light, not golden shower. Course in Miracles bouncers. Course in Miracles bouncers. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
It was a mistake.
It was a mistake.
Forgive me.
I'll say that again. If I give you pleasure, if you touch my body and it's a pleasure, it makes me identify with my body, does it not? I go, ooh, that back massage felt so good. But then if I stub my toe, that's very painful. That also does what? Makes me think I'm a body. So the Course in Miracles is not denying that we think we're bodies. It's just saying the reason why you think you are is the pleasure you go through with your body and the pain that you go through with your body. It's your physical senses that make you think that's what it is. And you identify with it, just like you identify with your beliefs. That's why when people say they don't believe what you believe, you get offended because you identify with your beliefs. But now you're identifying with your body. And so now when someone says you might be more than that, you feel uneasy. The Course in Miracles says when you're reminded that you are really an unlimited spiritual being temporarily housed within a body, and someone tells you that part of you that's convinced that you are a body feels uneasy. And they even think that the Course is putting the body down, like saying there's something wrong with it. And it didn't say, there's nothing wrong with a tea kettle. I'm just not one. So for somebody to say, Earl, you're not a tea kettle, buddy, then I get mad because now I think they're putting down tea kettles. No, I'm just telling you, you're not one. As a matter of fact, you'll enjoy the tea kettle more if you realize you're not. Which means you'll take better care of your body if you don't think you're it. And you'll take care of your body if you think it doesn't last, because you'll feel like anything that doesn't last, you need to take care of it for as long as you can. So the idea that your body is not permanent should inspire you to want to do what's necessary to have a healthier body. It's just the opposite from thinking, oh, it's not real, so you just don't have to think anything about it. Well, no, it's not real, so now it needs your care. And this book says the truth is the opposite of everything we've been taught. And that if you ever, and it's said, if you don't know what the truth is, it's the opposite of everything. Do you know why the world is the way that it is? The book says, well, let me tell you, it's not really that complex. It's simply this. There were these unlimited spiritual beings who can create and experience anything, anywhere, anytime. Okay? They can have any idea because they have free will. They can think anything they want to think. Okay? Well, they had the thought. What thought? What would it be like to think I was separate and alone and without God on my own doing things? So with that thought, they created this reality that's based on the idea of being separate, and now poof, we are here. So we are experiencing what happens when we forget we're one. We are forgetting what happens when people forget to truly love and take care of it. We're in a world that is the opposite of love, trying to remember what love is and bring it back into the world so we can transform it, because we created it. Is that deep? That's deep. That's, even if it's not true, it's deep. You know, it beats the regular conversation. You know, like I walk up to people and say, you know, you're not a body. Doesn't go over big. No, what you do is you say, did you see that Broncos? Now you're cool. See, the more you wake up to who you really are, the more you realize that you don't want to communicate to anybody in a way that increases their fear and conflict. Right. So you're not going to talk about way out metaphysical spiritual terms and ideas and concepts with people who would think you crazy. Okay, you talk to them about what they would feel comfortable talking to you about. They like you. Now think about that. They like you because they see you have something in common, because I had something y'all could talk about, right? And people will do things for you and not harm you just because they like you. So it's not important that we intellectually look at things the same way. What's important is that we care about each other. But we think it's the other way around. You got to have my beliefs and I got to have your beliefs, and you got to understand my beliefs and I got to understand your beliefs. We think it's all about the thought. It's really all about the heart. You know, I've had people say, I don't even know why I did that for you. Somebody else had to say it that, I would have just been all over them. But it's something about you. I just felt like I had to just help you out. Right? That's the power of love. The love transcends the intellect. Right? So the Course says that what God creates is eternal. So the Holy Spirit, which is the voice for what? The voice for love, the voice for God, the voice for truth in you, right, will remain with you. When it says sons of God, I've been called sons of, but it didn't end with God a few times. But you sons of, okay. So the Holy Spirit, so remember, when the Holy Spirit, the Course is only talking about love or fear. So you can always substitute love or fear if you get caught up in the terminology, which would be love will remain with the children of love to bless their creations and keep them in the light of joy. So you have a loving right mind that will always be with you, that is blessing everything you create and keeping it joyful. So there's one part of you that wants to keep you in pain and conflict, which we're familiar with. He says, well, you have just as much another part of you that wants to keep you in pleasure and joy and happiness. Got it? Yep. So there are two voices. There are two voices that we listen to. One voice is describing our experience to us. Everybody familiar with the narrator? The part of you that's all day long telling you what's going on and what it means? Okay. The narrator is the wrong narrator whenever the narrator is telling you things that keep you in anxiety, fear, and conflict. How do you know when you're listening to the wrong narrator? You don't feel inspired. You feel confused, you feel angry, you feel upset. That's why I say when you're feeling that way, breathe, don't say anything, and then ask what you should say. And if right now you don't hear anything, that means shut up. I wish I could just make it more complicated than that. If you don't say, well, I'm not getting anything, okay, well then just breathe, retreat, and say, I really want to handle this in a peaceful, loving way, and I'm definitely willing to discuss this with you when I feel more centered and more peaceful. Because if you let yourself lose your temper, then you're going into your unconscious, insane, crazy self, and nothing anybody's going to do is going to stop it. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Once that joker gets loose, it doesn't matter if somebody says something positive or they say something negative, you still get mad. Yeah. Haven't you been there? You know, when somebody's really crazy and they're in their ego, and even if you try to say the most loving, kind thing that you can get to come out of your mouth, they'll twist that. Oh, you always say you love me when you done that crazy stuff. You see what I'm saying? So even if I say something nice, they get upset. So whenever you say something and continue to engage with a person that is upset and it's not a life or death situation, then you are throwing a log on the fire. There's nothing you're going to say that's going to make the situation better while they are in their insanity of anger. I'll say it again. And then you're taking the chance that you will get hooked. And then before you know it, you're coming back at them just the way that they're coming at you because they shared an idea, you believed in it, it became stronger, just like we just said earlier. Now both of y'all are angrier than ever. So the Course in Miracles is saying there is a part of your mind that has one job, that's to keep you joyful. There's a part of God that's assigned to you, that is a part of you, that has one job, to heal every problem you think you have. But you have to learn what? How to hear the voice. How to recognize when the voice is talking to you. Why, Earl Purdy? Because the voice sounds like yours. The voice that told you to get that phone number that you wish you never got in your whole life, that voice sounds like yours. Oops. Right? And then that voice that told you you need to love yourself more the next time and be kinder to yourself, that also sounded like what? Your voice. So what was the difference between the two voices? The content. So you learn how to tell the difference between the two voices by what? What they're saying. Wow. I don't know about you, but this is making me feel better. So I know I'm hearing it correctly because it makes sense and it's simple and it feels good. It feels good for me to think there's a part of me that loves me more than I can see. And that it wants to look out for me regardless of how I feel about myself. And it will love me permanently. It's not going to come and go like human love. And I tell people, and I say this a lot, and people don't like it, but I say it anyway, is that what we call love is specialness. What we call love, the Course in Miracles teaches, is not love. What we give each other is specialness. And then he says we call it love. See, if she said, I saw that teacher today and I just fell in love with him. He was just the cutest little black man with a bald head, that came in with Jessica, it's like, he's just the coolest guy, right? Well, if I got singled out above everybody else, then it just means I'm more special in that moment than everybody else. When I say I love you and I want only you, I'm saying you're special to me and you're more special than anybody. When I say I love you more than anybody, I'm really saying you are more special to me than anybody. When I say I love my children, I'm saying my children are more special to me than anybody else's children. That's why I'm more concerned about my child being fed than your child being fed. Love wouldn't make that distinction, would it? Real love would not make that distinction. We're counting on our Creator being real love. And don't you know we're also counting on our Creator that His love is equal for all of us? Don't we? Don't we like go, the Creator loves all of us, right? So we're not looking for the Creator, if the Creator could take a physical form, we're not looking for the Creator to walk in and say, I picked the molar and I picked Raj. The rest of y'all to hell with you. I'm out of here. We're not looking for spirit to do that. We're looking for spirit to go, that's why if something goes good for Doug, then I'll say God answered Doug's prayer. That just makes me feel like there's a higher likelihood that God would answer mine. Isn't that where you do it? You go, oh, okay, it happened for the molar, then it could happen for me. So love is something that's equally shared and given to everyone. And then the book says, you all don't know how to do that. What? He says, you all don't know how to love everyone equally. You know you don't. You know you don't love everybody equally. Even when parents say that they love all their children the same. They might be a part of them that loves their children, the real self, the same. But each one of their children are not the same special to them. Their children have different levels of specialness, but not necessarily different levels of love. Right? There have been people that I know that you love that you don't like. You know you love them, you know there's a part, but you don't like to necessarily be around them. So my point is when we talk about love, we're talking about something that you can't lose, that's not dependent on whether somebody has an opinion of you, and they can decide to snatch it back anytime they get ready. That is not love. So the Course in Miracles, it said that there's a part of you that has the job of blessing everything you create. I said it again. There's a part of you, the divine in you, wants to bless everything you create. And then the Course says, well, what is creation? He says it's the extension of love. So every time I extend love to you, then I receive a blessing. Every time I give you what I'd like to receive, I receive a blessing. And that will keep me in joy. All right, so I'm going to do a quick recap in just a minute. I know. That's why I always tell people, watch or listen to my videos at least 4 times, because it's through repetition that you allow yourself to accept new ideas. So if it was anything that you heard that you would like to remember and that you would like to accept, then you have to repeat it over and over and over again. So you have to watch this over and over and over again. If not, the Course uses the analogy of a ship going through the waves and how the wave breaks, and then after the ship passes, the waves crash back together and merge. He said that's what happens. Right now, for an hour, you let the waves part, and you heard something different, and it made sense to you. Then I said, it's the end of the class, and you go back out the door, you leave where you're watching me, and then the world crashes back in on you again. And all of a sudden, it's like you never came here, and you never heard anything I said. And that's for my protection. Those who would hate me don't remember they ever heard me. And those who love me go, I want to hear that again. So I'm protected. Because if you say something that's far enough away from what a person believes, they don't even understand what you said, so they can't really get upset about it. They don't even know what you said. For some people listening to me today, this is what it sounded like. For some people listening to me today, this is what it sounded like. So they can't get mad at me because they don't know what the hell I was talking about. That's what happens when people hear the truth and they're not ready. Unless you force it on them, and then they get mad at you and don't ever want to see you again. So never take it upon yourself to fix somebody and they didn't help you, ask you to do it. Right. Okay. So I'm a full-time teacher of A Course in Miracles, and I do it on a donation love offering basis. So those who would like to share with me and my teaching ministry, I would appreciate that. And I'm thankful to you for being willing to do that. You can go to my website and make a donation, earlpurdy.com, P-U-R-D-Y. You can use Zelle, Venmo, the Cash App, and PayPal. And all you need is my email address. What is my email address? earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. For those who would like to go deeper and work with me on a one-on-one level, one-on-one, you have some issues, you have some clarity you want to get a sense of direction, you want to know how to deal with some relationships or some things that's happening in your life, and you want to know how you could get the peace you want out of that situation using the principles that I'm talking and teaching. I do what I call a clarity session. And if you go to my website and look under clarity sessions, it will describe my service in detail, and you can self-book a session with me right there online. Now, those of you who are open and receptive to it, there are many ways of being helped and receiving the truth. I'm also a sole purpose astrologer and numerologist. So those who are open to astrology and numerology is a tool to receive information through. Then I can also do an interpretation of your chart with the same purpose, to remember who we really are and to let go of what's blocking our happiness. I don't know how to break this to you, but your birth was not an accident. I'm going to tell you something. It's very startling, maybe. You chose to be born. You chose your parents. You chose your sex. You chose your race. You chose the time of history. In history, you would be born. You chose the basic premises under which you were born under. And then part of the plan, so that you could have this experience of being separate, was you agreed to forget you made the decision. Just like a magician. You've seen it a million times. They'll say, when I say the word peanut, you're going to grab your right leg and you're going to skip around. And he says, but when I snap my finger, you forget I told you that. Now, you made the decision, right? Because you agreed to turn around and go in a circle. Your choice. But you also agreed to forget it. So then you forget it, right? And then I said peanut, and you don't know why. And you jumping around on one leg. The Course in Miracles says, I want you to understand something. You do that all day. You make decisions that you forget you're making. You make decisions you've forgotten you made. And then you have these things happen to you and you don't know why, because you don't remember you made the decision because there was something you needed to learn. Wow. So the Course in Miracles is saying, now it's time for you to wake up. It's time for you to realize you've been hypnotized. It's time for you to now make new choices. But choices based on the idea that you are loved, you are loving, and you are lovable. Because those ideas will manifest just like the other ones did. And you need to make sure you put yourself around people who help you manifest those loving ideas, rather than be around people who are constantly reinforcing the beliefs about yourself that bring you pain and discomfort. And the most important witness that you can possibly have is whoever you see as a special relationship partner of any kind. And I'm not just talking about romance. The people you hang around with are your witnesses, your reinforcers, and your mirrors. And if you want to change your mind, then you have to start sharing loving thoughts like I'm talking about today. Because what? Thoughts become stronger. Thoughts become stronger the more who believe in them. And the more you give them away, the stronger they become. So those who would like to have a session with me, it will be well worth your while. It'll save you a lot of time. Thursdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Every Thursday on the Earl Purdy page on Facebook. The Earl Purdy page on Facebook. Every Thursday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, I do what I call hardcore Course in Miracles. These classes are especially aimed at people who are studying the Course or who really want to study the Course. It's not a class that's aimed at convincing anyone to study the Course. It's those people who say, Earl Purdy has been doing this 41 years, has been doing it full time for 34 years. It's a possibility that he could be helpful to me and save me some time in understanding this material and actualizing it. So it's more for those people who, they know they may not believe it yet, but they know it's true. Y'all follow that? It's a class for people who don't believe it, but they know it's true. And they want to get past that block. So That's what my one-on-ones are about. Okay? Earl Purdy page. Also, I have hundreds of classes on YouTube. So if you have YouTube, hundreds of classes, hundreds and hundreds of classes on YouTube and on my website that you can watch for free. For free. For free. For free. For free. Okay? All right. So here we go. I'm going to do but one paragraph. We nibbled, didn't we? We did some good old juicy nibbling, didn't we? Oh, we was the nibblers. We the course nibblers. We the miracle nibblers. Here we go. You heard of nibblers? We're nibblers. Here we go. Wait. The Holy Spirit, the loving right mind, is your Christ mind. That is your right mind. There's a part of you that is aware of knowledge. There's a part of you that knows the truth. There's a part of you that knows the truth. There's a part of you that knows the truth. And it knows the truth that's beyond what you can see, what you can see. You need something that can see beyond how you see things. If you're unhappy in any area of your life right now, pick out whatever area that you know you wish were different right now. Do that. Come up with an area of your life that you would like to see differently right now. And realize that you have a part of you called God, called Spirit. And that part of you is aware of the truth that's beyond what you can see, the answer that's beyond what you can see. All right. Now, the part of you that can help you, it came into existence when you separated yourself from God. That just means when you separated yourself from love and you separated yourself from that which created you. As soon as you came into this experience that sometimes has fear, sometimes has sickness, sometimes has upset, there's a part of God that came here with you to guide you, that knows what you have forgotten about. You don't know everything. 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 There's a part of you that knows everything. There's a part of you that knows everything. It's here to protect you. So, before you separated yourself from God, before you separated yourself from love, before you came into this physical experience, there was no need for healing. There was no need for love because you were in an experience of love and happiness. Then the chorus says, there's a voice of the Holy Spirit. There's a voice of truth in you. There's a voice of love in you. And it has one job. What job has your loving right mind? What is its job? Its job is to restore the integrity of your mind. You have to restore the integrity of your mind. And when your healing is complete, when you no longer see yourself in any kind of a negative, fearful way, then everybody's going to feel blessed in return. Everybody's going to feel love in return. Everything is going to change for the better in return. Everything. So what is the other thing that you need to remember? You need to remember that what God creates is eternal. That's the same as saying what love creates is eternal. What God creates, it never ends. It's a love that never ends. Do you want a love that never ends? Do you want a love that never ends? Do you want a love that never ends? Do you want a peace that never ends? Do you want a peace that never ends? Do you want love that never ends? Do you want abundance that never ends? Do you want happiness that never ends? Do you want a relationship of peace that never ends? Do you want love that never ends? God creates, love creates joy that never ends. Wow, what else did we hear today? There is a part of the Creator that will remain with you all the time. You may not know it, but you have invisible helpers with you all the time. You may have forgotten that this world is not your home. This world is your school. This world is not your home. This world is your school. This world is not your home. This world is your school. This is soul school. You're in soul school. You're in soul school. You're in soul school. This is a school where souls come to learn how to let go of all the blocks to happiness. You're in school right now, and your body is like your skin diving outfit. You have jumped into the ocean of humanity, and you're wearing your flesh suit. But your flesh suit is not you. There's a part of you that's going to bless all your loving creations, and there's a part of God that's assigned to you to make sure that you stay in a place of joy. Thank you for coming, mighty companions. Thank you. Give it to you, and give it to me, and give it to you, because I am you, and you are me. Mighty companion, I love you. I appreciate you all. Listen to this over and over again. Earl Purdy signing off. And I'd like to end this by saying what? May the course be with you.